Thanks, Clive. Hello, welcome to BBC Channel Islands with me, Amari Ibrahim. It's a crucial time of life that can have a profound impact on young people and their future. But a new report on secondary education in Guernsey has found some aspects of the current school system for teenagers are divisive and may need a rethink. The report by politicians who review education policy found families don't have as much choice as they should when deciding where young people study for GCSEs or further education. Gemma Daubeny has the story.
It affects the lives of teenagers across the island, but the secondary system can be a pretty tough topic to get your head around. When children leave primary school at 11, the options are state secondary, largely based for most families on where they live, state's fee-paying, and private. Then, at 14, just before starting crucial GCSEs, there's a decision to make, for some. Young people with high enough academic scores have the option to transfer to Holier, a selective school but the only free place for those who want to study beyond GCSEs to A-levels. Students can move to Holier at 16 too, but it's the 14-plus intake that's drawn attention.
A lot of children feel left behind, and it's a particularly vulnerable age, so they take it very badly. But then there are other children who appreciate the opportunity of being able to go to Holier. So it's very divisive in opinion. The actual process is divisive in itself. We have asked the Minister to review the 14-plus transfer.
The scrutiny panel wants the Minister to look at secondary education as a whole and improving options for young people, both at 14 and at 16.
So I know that there's been suggestions that Lake Hennive could have a sixth form centre. Another possibility is that both Victoria College and Jersey Girls College could offer free sixth form education.
The Education Minister's welcomed this report, but says he'll read it in more detail before responding. But we already know the controversial 14-plus system is unlikely to change anytime soon. It's also just one of 24 recommendations in the report the Minister has to consider, and some feel other areas should take priority.
Giving teachers time to do their job, providing good continuous professional development, and to be honest, investing far more into our education system is more important than the row about Holier.
Secondary school should empower students with the knowledge, skills and relationships to shape their future. This report questions whether the system itself is the thing that needs reshaping. Gemma Daubeny, BBC Channel Islands News, Jersey.
Now, we talk a lot about the struggle to buy your first home in the Channel Islands, but it seems finding a home for your golden years in Guernsey is a worry too. It's one of the themes explored in a new survey that asked more than 1,600 islanders about their retirement plans. It was commissioned by the campaign group Ageing Well in the Bailiwick, which wanted a snapshot of later life living. Ewan Duncan can tell us more.
This is one of Guernsey's newest housing developments. It's only for those aged over 55. There are 31 homes here with the lift access to all floors. There's parking and garden space too, something highlighted as key in a property for those who had retired or were close to it.
They're thinking about retirement very much when they are well, they're able to do things, they are able to still engage and kind of take care of sort of day-to-day activities. And what was striking in the survey results, it's only when someone in their household needs support or in themselves needs support with day-to-day activities, does having a property which is suitable for somebody with limited mobility become important.
The survey asked people about their financial status, and while most people describe themselves as comfortably well off, housing remains a problem for many. More than half of people surveyed want to stay in their current home, but very few islanders had adapted their own home to make it more suitable as they grow older, with declining health being a key driver for those who do want to move.
It was striking, however, less than a third of them said their property was suitable for somebody with limited mobility, and only about 40% of those said their property was easy to maintain.
We recognise estates do have lots of issues in hand, But there is a benefit in downsizing to the rest of the community. So a house that's got 3 bedrooms becomes available to a family. But we need to ensure that an older person has the accommodation they require and they can afford.
As the pension age continues to rise in Guernsey, islanders may need to plan not just how to pay for their retirement, but where they'll spend it too. Ewan Duncan, BBC Channel Islands News, Guernsey.
Jersey will join Guernsey in the UK in banning disposable electronic cigarettes. Politicians agreed unanimously with plans to outlaw single-use vapes on environmental grounds. They contain plastic, copper and lithium batteries that aren't recycled, but it's also hoped it'll make it harder for young people to start vaping. Shops will be able to sell off whatever stock they have before the ban comes into force next April. Now, how many is too many when it comes to politicians in Guernsey? Perhaps you think more is merrier. States members are tackling the issue of their own headcount today with proposals to slash the number of deputies representing the island. Our political reporter John Fernandez sets out what they're being asked to decide.
This debate is all about the number of people that sit here in the Royal Court for states meetings. Deputy Mark Hellier wants 10 fewer than the current 38. He wants 28 after the June general election, which will mean a bit more legroom for him and his colleagues if he gets in.
Smaller teams make better and faster decisions, they're less likely to form cliques, and we waste far too much time making long hot air speeches instead of getting things done.
On the opposite side of this debate is Deputy John Gollop. He wants to increase the number of deputies by 7 to 45. That's how they were pre-2016.
We need more diversity and equality and inclusivity, and many other parliaments and assemblies from Germany to Wales to Ireland are increasing their parliamentary size. We have a larger population than ever, we have more professional people than ever, so why are we having less states members?
On the top bench, Deputy Neil Linder is proposing a bit of a halfway house, a reduction of 5 deputies to 33 after June's general election. The Island's Senior Committee, Policy and Resources, and one of the island's most senior politicians, Deputy Peter Roffey, who sits just here normally, want to see a review of the number of states members which could come back in the new political term.
At the beginning of next term, I think it's really important that the States sets out right from the start to have a special committee to look at those reforms. It can build on the work that we did, but it can report back earlier on in the next term, and that's important if we want to see reform.
The final option is the status quo, chucking everything out, moving forward with 38 deputies and 2 Alderney reps. That's after June's general election.
Well, our political reporter John Fernandez has been following the opening arguments in that debate on how big or small Guernsey state should be. What's the latest, John?
Well, Amar, it's happened for around 30 minutes, the debate, and already a 6th proposal has been put forward by Deputies Yvonne Burford and Heidi Salisbury. That's to make sure that this new committee that's set up, if Deputy Jonathan Tock's amendment is successful, also looks at the voting system. So not just how many states members they are, but how they are elected. And there would be 2 island-wide general elections before that happens, so they want to effectively look at whether island-wide voting is working. Now, I've spoken to deputies on either side of this debate, and they're not sure which way it's actually going to go. Some say all the proposals will be junked, some say this review committee may be created, but others say the most likely argument that may succeed is Deputy Neil Linder's proposal to reduce states members by 5 people. We'll find out, I guess, tomorrow when debate is set to continue.
Thanks, John. And voters in Sark are choosing their new government today, and for the first time 16 and 17-year-olds can have their say. 15 candidates are standing for 9 seats in Chief Pleas. The polls closed at the Island Hall a little over half an hour ago, with the results due to be announced tomorrow. Politicians in Jersey knocked back plans to allow people who aren't British nationals to stand for election. Deputies calling to relax the eligibility criteria argued it wasn't fair to stop people from becoming a politician just because they'd been born in a different country. But the states voted to keep the current rules by 31 votes to 14. A handful of Guernsey boat owners protested outside the states this morning, objecting to plans to further increase mooring fee. They handed a petition with around 1,200 signatures to the politician responsible for the harbours. It asks to stop any above-inflation rises following big increases this year to the cost of keeping a boat locally.
We're hoping to get the deputies to recognise that putting fees up every year by extortionate amounts is a very dangerous activity, because it will throw away all the good work that we have here. You know, all the local boat owners will sell their boats, will move off, because they simply cannot afford increases of 25% or more every year.
Now a look at some of the other stories making the news today. A new survey shows a third of households in Jersey find it difficult to pay their rent or mortgage. The Lifestyle and Opinion survey collects information on a wide range of subjects. It also suggests 4 out of 5 single-parent families struggle to cope financially. The French ferry company Moorchiel has opened bookings for next year. It will run seasonal routes between 3 French towns, Jersey, Guernsey and Sark. The 3 Channel Islands governments are subsidising the service after it was threatened by rising operating costs. Organisers have cancelled this year's Jersey's Battle of Flowers Christmas parade after it was postponed by bad weather on Sunday. They said they've not been able to find an alternative date in which the parade can be staffed safely. A Guernsey health charity is extending its scheme encouraging parents to feel comfortable breastfeeding their babies out and about. The Health Improvement Commission is working with businesses, cafes and restaurants to make women feel free to feed their baby how and where they wish. Now for the weather with David Brain. David, any sign that the windy and rainy weather might end?
Hi, Amar. It's not just that, it's the cold weather. And I think yes is the answer to that. We will have quite a big change over the next few days. But at the moment, we've got a lot of cloud and it's quite cold. Mainly dry for tomorrow. Bit of a cloudy start. If there's going to be any brightness, it'll probably happen in the afternoon. And even though the winds are much, much lighter than when we started the week, it's a cold wind because temperatures are really struggling at the moment. Across the middle of France, across here, there's a pool of really low temperatures, 1-2 degrees above freezing, and we're just drawing that in with an easterly wind. This is an area of high pressure. Trapped within it, a lot of cloud, as I've mentioned. That high pressure doesn't move too far over the next 24 hours or so, but it does start to edge away as we end the week. It moves away to the east and allows this cold front to come in from the northwest. That will introduce perhaps a few showers across us on Saturday, but once it goes through and then we get into Sunday, we end up with these westerly winds around the top of the area of high pressure. That is milder air eventually arriving. So yes, the temperatures are going to finally get back up into double figures. Cold tonight though. Minimum temperatures overnight tonight will be around 4 or 5 degrees. It might be lower than that. There might be a 3 in a few places tonight. So it really is quite cold overnight tonight. Even the risk of a touch of frost for St Helier, for Jersey. The forecast for tomorrow, lots of cloud, but with a few more breaks developing in it. And it's a predominantly dry day, but just 6 degrees, the maximum temperature. It's going to feel pretty cold for all of us. These are our times of high water. St Helier, that's at 3:11 and 15:40. Now the winds are from the east tomorrow and nowhere near the strength that we've seen at the start of the week. It's an easterly 3 to 4. Generally fair with good visibility. The outlook is for us to see that change to higher temperatures, and that'll come our way as we go into the weekend. So another cold day on Friday. Saturday, that weather front arriving, bringing a few showers. As it goes through later in the day, we may get some late sunshine. Quite cold overnight and into Sunday. Sunday, temperatures finally up to 10 or 11 degrees as a maximum. So it will warm up, but just be patient. Cold for the rest of this week. Amar.
Thanks, David. Well, that's all for now. We'll be back with your late news at 10:30. And of course, you can get your latest news on the BBC News website in the Jersey and Guernsey sections. Have a great evening.
Award winners now and 2 inspirational women achieving great things locally and nationally. The West Country Women Awards recognises outstanding contributions and positive impact on communities. Alexis Wright from the Olive Project and Dawn Dines from Stamp Out Spiking came in for a chat earlier today. Dawn, first of all, you were the joint winner of the Combating Violence Against Women and Girls, but it's so much bigger than that, isn't it?
It really is, Victoria. I mean, the amount of testimonials we receive from men and boys regarding all spiking-related crimes. So, yes, this message really has to be shared out across that it can happen to anyone at any time in any place.
You've been working on this project for a long, long time, haven't you? This is a local award, but it's gone national with the campaign.
It really has, yeah, we're delighted. We've got a national campaign going out all over the country, and it's like got a wine glass, a pint glass and a cocktail glass. And as you walk towards it, all these spikes come out and shards come out like the handle. And it just says, if only it was this easy to see a spiked drink. And it's just a reminder, really, that, you know, we've got to be vigilant. We've got to all be looking out for each other. And we need that accredited training to go out across the country now.
Your message is clear to individuals, but also to the government. You've been campaigning for a long time for a change in the law, and that's now happening at last.
It is. I'm so excited. It's taken 20 years of campaigning and knocking on the doors. We've got 5 cross-political parties who all agreed. And now, obviously, Keir Starmer has made an announcement last week that he is going to make spiking a specific offence. So we're going to be able to know the true data of these crimes.
Amazing stuff. And Alexis, from the Olive Project, you won the Diversity and Equality Award. And you say, as a charity, you are from the communities that you serve, which is incredibly important.
Absolutely. So we refer to ourselves as a by and for organisation, meaning that we are from the communities that we wish to support. And the national evidence is that when a person can go to their own community for support, particularly if they're a victim of domestic abuse or sexual violence, their outcomes are just better in terms of safety, in terms of recovery, in terms of staying out of abusive relationships. That black and minoritized, particularly black minoritized women, are more at risk in terms of domestic abuse and sexual violence, in terms of how long they stay in abusive relationships. They are more likely to suffer serious injury and sadly more likely to be affected by domestic homicide. So for us, getting the support right from the start is just so important in the sense it can be life-saving.
And you're not just helping individuals, you offer training to bigger organisations and businesses and companies to allow them to understand the situation better.
Absolutely, and for us that's such an important part of our work, is to create change through collaboration and through partnership working. So whilst we want to provide the kind of one-to-one support, what we don't want to happen is for one of the beneficiaries we work with to go into whether it's social care or education or to A&E and receive either discriminatory responses or in fact dangerous responses. And so we want to sort of support organisations to address that safely, because we know that there can be a real fear when talking about racism, so we want to make it safe and accessible for all the organisations to have that conversation.
Wonderful that these awards are highlighting both of your charities and organisations. And a final message from you, Dawn, at this time of the year at Christmas, lots of people out drinking. Your message is absolutely vital at the moment, isn't it?
It really is. And so for all your listeners out there today, if you're going out on a Christmas party, please be very mindful that alcohol is actually the most common form of spiking, and it's normally done by people who love you and think that they're being kind. So not all spiking is done with malicious intent. So that education piece is really needed.
Thank you so much for coming in. Have a lovely festive season. And I know that we'll talk about your organisations again. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Now, it's easy to forget that all the festive frivolities, hype and excitement isn't everyone's idea of a perfect Christmas. And with that in mind, one festive attraction in East Devon had a special private event for children with additional needs who wouldn't be able to experience it otherwise. And it's raising money for charity too. Our reporter Melanie Chiswell went along.
While most of us might wish it could be Christmas every day, some children with additional needs can find all the excitement overwhelming. So today they get this magical wonderland at Otter Garden Centre in East Devon all to themselves.
But they're both the same. Yeah, it's really good to have these special times because we don't get this chance normally to have this time for the children like this, where it's quiet and they can enjoy it.
And they'd miss out if you didn't have opportunities like this.
They would, yeah, very much so.
It's just really nice to have the opportunity to actually access these things rather than kind of have to leave because it's not working. And so it's great to just come round and just one or two other families and explore Christmas. Yeah.
And what's it like to see the look on Tate's face when he's enjoying everything around him?
Yeah,
This
that's
is
really
the
good.
This is the look.
Is this your look?
This is the normal
Yeah,
look.
we don't always see masses of look on his face, but no, it's great for him to experience it.
Here in the kitchen, health and safety may have gone out of the window and some of the staff have gone stir crazy, but it's all raising money for hospice care.
I think it's just creating that magic. I think as, you know, we all get older, as society keeps going, it's really difficult to keep the magic going. I think what's amazing with Otter Garden Centre is that they're putting on special sessions for SEN children as well, so that really everybody can be involved in the experience.
Whilst the children behaved like angels, the elves didn't. Next week, this winter wonderland will be open to everyone.
Is the carol that you sing.
Singing is optional. Melanie Chiswell, BBC Spotlight, Ottery St Mary.
Well, Christmas is a time that communities often come together to celebrate, and in Launceston they've done so in spectacular fashion. This year's Christmas Tree Festival at St Mary Magdalene Church has more than 90 festive trees on display, all designed by different groups, schools and businesses. Spotlight's John Danks has been to take a look.
From a distance, they look much like any other Christmas tree. But look closer and you'll spot some clever design in the decoration.
Here's one of the more unusual trees in the display. It's from a local flooring and bathroom centre. It's got toilets and baths and little pom-poms and a towel bale and some slippers, and it's even got miniature toilet rolls on it.
From trees made from melted vinyl records to ones made entirely from fabric. These unique creations were made by local businesses, community groups and schools.
We've actually heard people go, wow, because it's just such a beautiful glittering display of lights. And then people walk around and they just appreciate the creativity of people and the you know, the hard work that's gone into each of the trees, really.
They're all amazing in their own way. They're all unique. And the other thing I've noticed, well, it's not just Christmas trees. It's a whole diversity of different kinds of trees, and every one of them sort of gives out a certain message, and it gives out a certain feeling. It truly is an amazing experience coming here every year.
Yeah, this is the tree which has been put in by the local Launceston Voluntary First Aid Society, and they always come in with something a bit alternative. And this one is particularly beloved by the children because of all the cuddly mice on there. So you've got a mouse with Christmas cheese on the top with all the different things. Cornish cheese as well. Quiet mouse. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Shopping mouse, I think.
While some of the trees raise a smile, others are more reflective.
Christmas is a rather difficult time for some people. You may have noticed that some of the trees, people have put labels on there. There's a prayer tree at the back there, but there are others where people who've lost loved ones want them to be remembered in a special way.
The proceeds from this Christmas tree festival go towards funding a warm space in the church for those who need it, and to the local food bank.
The organisers of this event say they've already raised more than £3,000, and the event runs until Friday afternoon. John Danks, BBC Spotlight in Launceston.
Looks really lovely, doesn't it? And I love shopping mouse. Let's have a look at the weather forecast now, and David joins me here in the studio. Is it still quite quiet?
It is quiet, thank you, Victoria. Well, perhaps not as calm as we would like, but it's certainly quiet at the moment. Thank you very much. Good evening. And we've had a tiny bit of blue sky here and there, but the main story today has been the cloud, but also how cold it's felt today. The low temperatures have been with us all week this week, and that low temperature continues for the rest this week, for Thursday and Friday. But things do change as we go into the weekend, we will eventually see a higher temperature. But for tomorrow, it's another cold day, another rather cloudy day. More breaks in the cloud than we've seen today. And perhaps in the morning, a few showers. They will arrive overnight tonight and be around first thing tomorrow morning along the south coast. Other than that, there is very little change in the weather pattern for the next 2 days. We've still got high pressure. That's still in charge, right slap bang over the UK, hardly moving at all for the next 24 hours. But as we move into Friday, more especially Saturday, it starts to move. It edges away towards the middle of Europe, and it allows this cold front to drift in from the northwest. That will introduce a few showers on Saturday. And whilst we've labelled it as a cold front, actually what it'll do is it'll clear out that cold air, and eventually we get westerly winds around the top of the high that's re-establishing itself across the western side of the Bay of Biscay. What that will do is draw in a higher temperature. So we are lifting the temperatures as we go into Sunday, Monday and Tuesday of next week, back up into double figures. So for those that haven't liked these really low temperatures, it is going to get milder. Here are the showers just along the south coast. They'll keep coming, I think, for a time overnight tonight. Still around first thing in the morning. A few breaks in the cloud here and there. So temperatures in the range of 3 to 5 degrees overnight tonight. We should be frost-free. Tomorrow's forecast has those showers probably lingering for a time across the Isles of Scilly. Here we keep a lot of cloud. For elsewhere, though, there's just a hint of a little bit more of a break in the cloud developing, particularly towards the end of the day. So perhaps in a few places, some late sunshine. Still cold, mind you. Best temperature tomorrow, around 7 or 8 degrees. Winds aren't as strong as they have been, but if you're along the south coast, we've still got that keen easterly wind. For the Isles of Scilly, we keep a lot of cloud here for most of the day. In fact, there'll be a bit of patchy drizzle coming out of that cloud. These are our times of high water. Plymouth, that's at 2:29 and 14:54. And Bideford 2:37 and 15:04. Winds are from the east tomorrow. There'll be no more than a force 3 or 4 for most coastal areas, just occasionally force 5 to 6 through the English Channel, and the chance of a few showers here as well, but mostly dry and generally good visibility out at sea. This is the trend in terms of temperatures. They're on the way up as we go into the weekend. 9 or so on Saturday, but up to 10 or 11 degrees Sunday, Monday. Lots of dry weather around. It could be, though, first thing on Saturday morning, we have a few showers and a possible frost on Saturday night. Have a nice evening. Victoria.
Thank you, David. And thank you for joining us. If you have a story to let us know about, do email us at spotlight@bbc.co.uk. We always love to hear from you. That's it from us this evening. I hope you can join us again tomorrow. From all of us here, good night.